This is the Tech Phantom, and welcome to video number 17 of this walkthrough. Or actually, I should say episode 17 of this walkthrough. We've had more than 17 videos because some of the episodes have had a part 1 and a part 2. And we are back in the twilight of Anor Londo. And we have a special item in our inventory, and that is the peculiar doll. And when you approach the painting and the Anor Londo Cathedral, while the peculiar doll is in your inventory, you are miraculously teleported to the Painted World of Ariamis. And this is sort of a snowy world, so it's obviously winter. Either that or this world is up high in a mountain where there's perpetual snowfall. And it's a hidden world. It's an optional world. If you look at the descriptions for the peculiar doll, it will tell you that it was a strange little doll with a strange dress, and that an abomination held the doll tightly, and the abomination did not know, knew that she did not belong in this world, and she was transported to this world. So we will solve the puzzle, the riddle of the peculiar doll in this episode. So like I was saying, the Painted World of Ariamis is a special, has a special bonfire. It's hidden and separated from the other world. So it's a little bit similar like the bonfire in the Duke's Archives. That's a bonfire that you can warp into, but you cannot warp out. So you are trapped once you get to the Painted World of Ariamis. The only way out is through, you need to find a way out. You cannot use bonfires. Alright, so a little bit of the mechanics of this level. We are going to be fighting a lot of engorged zombies, and they are pyromancers that when they die, they let out a cloud of toxin. And it's very easy to to get toxic here. So I'm going to give you a bunch of ways to avoid the toxin. You can use a fire weapon that will make the pyromancers basically go up in flames, consuming the toxin. You can also buff your weapon with resin to give it some fire damage. You can use range attacks, and there's the pyromancers that I was talking about. You can use range attacks, you can backstab them, you can use a bow, you can also use remedy, which that's going to be my my backup strategy. I'm going to be using a backup. That's going to be my backup strategy since I'm using the S stock. You can also backstab the enemies, because when you do that, they will their poison cloud will go in front of you. And finally, you can use armor with very high poison resistance, like the gold hem black set, or you can use purple, the blooming moss. So I've given you a bunch of ways to hopefully help you through this level, and this is a fun level to go through. There is a ton of lore that is hinted at in this level. So let's get started. Alright, so we've picked up an item, and we come to a little bit of an ambush, and we are attacked by crow demons. And these demons are humanoid crows. And there are going to be a proliferation of crows in this level. There's going to be a lot of crows and crow demons. And later on in the video, you will see that the crow demons can drop souvenirs of reprisal, so they can invade other worlds, similarly to the Dark Moon Blades. Maybe. We'll talk about that. First of all, let me show you some obscure or secret loot. This is a dried finger. If you read the description for that item, it'll tell you that it's still warm, that it's the knuckle of some creature not from this world, most likely a crow demon. And the way this item functions is that it allows you to be invaded much more frequently. So this is a good item for a Dark Wraith, or a good item for a Dark Moon Blade, a Blade of the Dark Moon, or obviously the Crow Demons, which drop souvenirs of reprisal, hinting at the fact that they can invade other worlds. Obviously they have their power within themselves, within their bones, because their knuckle, just the mere fact that you possess their knuckle will allow you to be invaded more often. So innately, the Crow Demons can easily invade other worlds. So in Dark Souls, there are only two mechanisms for invasion. One is the Dark Wraith Covenant through the orbs, and then the other one is to the Blade of the Dark Moon. And also, I guess with Alvina, you can be summoned as a Forest Hunter. But apparently, in this world, there is another way to invade, and that is if you're a Crow Demon. For whatever reason, you are sent to invade and punish whomever. Alright, so we've seen a lot of pyromancers, and their heads are engorged. So that's probably something that they didn't choose. And we just picked up an egg vermifuge, and if you read the description for that item, it'll tell you that it is a forbidden chestnut, and that the followers, the worshippers of the Chaos Flame, pyromancers in other words, that they are the holders of the egg vermifuges. So this makes sense. This is starting to make sense now. So apparently the pyromancers are being punished, probably by the Crow Demons. They're being snatched and brought here by the Crow Demons, and they're punished for being pyromancers. They're punished for being infidels and for worshiping the Chaos Flame instead of worshiping another god, whoever the god it is that the Crow Demons serve. Alright, so we are going to open this shortcut, and we are going to head back to the bonfire, but first we see a statue, the back of a statue of a woman, and it is protected by a phalanx, which is a little bit of a throwback to the phalanx in Demon Souls. And we also saw some blocks that, it looks like the phalanx maybe or somebody are tied to the blocks, and we see undead on spikes, and we see a lot of tombs. So this is a horrendous place. This is like hell. So or actually it's a place where sinners are brought, and it's a place where they're punished. I was thinking of purgatory. This is not hell. This is more like purgatory, where you come to be punished for your sins. Alright, so we are going to try to continue on our way, and we come to this snowfield that has blocks, and again, more corpses on spikes and more undead with torches. And some of the blocks, if you look into them, you can actually see that they're confinement cells. So those are actually solitary confinement jail cells, because you can actually peek in there. You can see how they have, some of them have little cells on them that are sticking up. So, that's just a brutal way to imprison someone. And we are going to continue on, and we are invaded by Dark Spirit King Jeremiah. And you can actually get his armor. After you defeat the boss, you will have the opportunity to pick up his armor, and he uses a whip, and he is also a very powerful pyromancer because he is casting a lot of high-level pyromancies. And he also has kind of a funky armor set that looks like what the old man wore in Demon Souls. All right, so here we pick up a pyromancy, And if you read the description of this pyromancy, it'll tell you that this pyromancy was not made by a pyromancer from Blighttown, that it was actually made by a pyromancer from other lands. So what appears to be happening here, guys, is that pyromancers are being punished because they don't adhere to the church, because they worship the chaos flame. But these pyromancers are from outside of Lordran. They're from other lands. So the sinners from other lands are punished by the god of this area through the crow demons, and while the sinners in Lordran are punished by Wendelin and his covenant, the blade, the blade of the dark, the blades of the darkness. So there is a deity that we heard about earlier when we met with Oswald the Pardoner, and he served Velka, the goddess of sin. And this is actually Velka's domain, the goddess of sin's domain. And as a matter of fact, that statue in the courtyard, I think, is a statue of Velka, and we will get a closer look at that statue in a little bit. So this area, the Painted World of Ariamis, is hidden, and it's the domain of Velka and her humanoid crows, the crow demons, punish sinners from other lands. And she probably had some kind of an agreement with Wendelin, because they were both gods and they both resided in Anor Londo, that Wendelin would take care of sinners in Lordran, and Velka would take care of sinners in other lands. Alright, so we have found a lever, and we rotate it, and we see that the statue in the courtyard moves. And if you take a look at the statue is of Velka, and she is holding a child. But I don't know if it's because the statue is old and the features have corroded, or they've over time they've worn away. But that looked like sort of a humanoid child. That didn't look like a true human child. It had humanoid features, but it also had weird animal-like features. Maybe I'm just seeing things, but to me, it doesn't. That Velka's face, the statue of the woman, looks like a woman, looks human, but the face of the child doesn't look completely human. So that's something important that we need to keep in mind as we progress through this episode. Alright, so we found a secret or a hidden wall, and we broke through it, and we end up in a little bit of a labyrinth. So we are exploring to see if we can find some interesting loot. And we are finding a lot of these skeletons with the bone shields. But we do find some loot. And we find the annex key. And if you read the description for the annex key, it'll tell you that it will open an annex, a compound next to the cathedral-like structure in this area. And that area is used, that annex is used as a storehouse of some kind. So a storehouse implies that there are some important treasures there. So we are going to go and look for that annex that we can now break into with the key. Alright, and here we find another engorged zombie, and he drops the pyromancy fire surge. And again, the description is going to be just like acid surge, that this was a pyromancy that was not created by the pyromancers in the swamp, but rather in a different land. So again, the pyromancers here come from other worlds outside of Lordran. Alright, so we are going to go back to the outside, and we are walking by the statue, close to the statue that has turned, and here is an area that could be the annex, and we're going to go try the annex key on this door. And sure enough, this is the annex, so we have found the storehouse. And this actually turns out to be the storehouse of the Church of the White. And the Church of the White has actually placed items that are either forbidden or that are dangerous in this storehouse. And we will find out more about that. So these engorged zombies are the protectors of, or the guardians of these dangerous items, as well as the crow demons. So the pyromancers that are brought here, some of them are killed outright or tortured or whatever, and some are turned into these engorged zombies, and they're used to guard the forbidden treasures of this place. And here's more crow demons. And there's another crow demon coming that I saw off in the distance. And they're actually pretty tough. They also have a jumping attack where they will basically jump on top of you with their thighs, and they'll try to do almost like a wrestling move. And you saw that they indeed do drop the souvenir of reprisal. So the crow demons can invade, and they do exactly the same thing as the blades of the Dark One. They cut the ear off their victim, and they take it as a trophy, and they leave the body behind as a warning to other sinners. We also picked up the Dark Ember, and this is the whole reason why the storehouse was locked, because the Dark Ember, which was forbidden by the church, is used to make occult weapons. And occult weapons were used to hunt the gods. So occult weapons scale with humanity. So humanity is dangerous to the gods because it can enhance the magic of occult weapons, and the gods are weak to that humanity. Alright, so here we find, if we break through that wall, we found Velka's rapier. And we are going to go look for some more treasure here. Like I said earlier, this area is full of treasure and full of lore, but the game really doesn't tell you. In other areas, there are a lot of items that you can tie together, but here they're sort of scattered, so it's a little bit more difficult putting a story together, which actually makes it a little bit more fun. All right, so we come up to this tower here, and we find the Vow of Silence miracle. And the description of this item says that it's a miracle made by the black-haired witch Velka, and it prevents the casting of magic. And it also tells you that Velka was a rogue deity, and that she had great influence even over the gods. So this is a perfect item for a rogue deity, for somebody that would not have all of their allegiances with the gods, because it prevents miracles, sorceries, and pyromancies from being cast. So Velka has a way to neutralize humans, because humans use their humanity, their inner self, for pyromancies. She can neutralize dragons and sorcerers because she can prevent them from casting spells, and she can also neutralize the clerics, the Church of the White, and the gods, because they cast miracles. So that is why she's classified as a rogue deity. She does not follow, she doesn't, do everything that the gods tell her. She's not, in step with the gods. She's a rogue deity, and it would make sense that as a rogue deity, she would have a way to battle the gods, to battle humans, and also to battle dragons and sorcerers. Alright, so we are fighting an undead dragon. And this dragon, there's a little bit of a glitch on this dragon. And I don't have any ranged attacks, but the easiest way to take out this dragon is to use ranged attacks. But if you want to melee him, the strategy that works for me is to go back and forth between the one paw, hit it a couple of times, and then run away, avoid his puke attack, his poison attack, and go chop at the other paw, and eventually he will do enough damage and he will die. So he's going to drop Dragon Scale, and he was protecting the Blood Shield. And the Blood Shield is a pretty good shield. It will increase all of the resistances, curse, poison, bleed. So it's a very, very useful item for this area, obviously, because there are there are the enemies that can make you toxic. And this is the little glitch when you do a jumping attack, but that's the only attack that works. And you do a jumping attack, the undead dragon will stand up, and you can go through his legs, and you can proceed forward. But we're not gonna use that shortcut. We're gonna continue exploring a little bit. So I was telling you guys earlier that there's a lot of symbolism associated with crows, and Velka is described as a black-haired witch, and crows are black. And we are going to the demon crows are humanoid crows. So there's an association with crows and Velka, and crows typically in many cultures are associated with death or with bad omens. So it would make sense that Velka would choose the crow as her symbol. And it's interesting to note that the peculiar doll is an item that is in the Undead Asylum, and that a giant crow takes you to the Undead Asylum. And here we see even more crows. And we find the red sign soapstone, and the description of this item is going to tell you that it is a way for an honorable dark wraith to resist their descent into dark. And for PvP, basically it will allow you to set up an honorable duel. So instead of invading someone, you put down your red soapstone sign, and if somebody sees it and wants to duel with you, they can summon you. So as far as the lore, apparently some dark wraiths try to prevent the seduction from Kath and their descent into the dark, and they don't invade others, and they don't steal their humanity and give it to Kath. What they do instead is they leave a sign in the world of the person that's going to be invaded, and allow them to get ready. So it's a little bit more of an even battle. So that's why the dark wraiths that use the red sign soapstone are considered to be honorable. Alright, so we have pretty much cleared this entire area. I haven't showed you every single item on here, guys. I think we missed a couple of items, but we've picked up all of these sort of obscure items and all of the secret items. We may have missed the humanity. We may have missed a couple of souls. One item that I did not pick up here is the Painted Guardian armor. And the description of that armor is going to tell you that the painting guardians have been protecting the entrance, protecting the painting for many, many years, and they've even forgotten. They've been doing it for so long that they've forgotten the reason. And it also says that they attack in fluid motions. In a previous video, I talked about their sword being not having a lot of range, but if you have a lot of dexterity, it's actually a pretty decent sword, and it can be used to do a lot of damage per second because it can allow you to hit multiple times. So we are trying to explain who that child was in the statue and what it has to do with the peculiar doll. And it's interesting that the crow takes you to the peculiar doll, takes you back to the Northern Undead Asylum, and that it turns out that the once you get the peculiar doll, you're able to come to the Painted World of Ariamis, and the Painted World of Ariamis is a storehouse of items that are dangerous to the gods and to the church. So Velka is ordered the giant crow, or Velka inhabits the giant crow, and takes you back and forth to the Northern Undead Asylum. So Velka, again, who's a rogue deity, has put this this thing in play where she gives the chosen undead an opportunity to access all of these items that are dangerous to the gods. So another item that is dangerous to the gods is this life-hunt scythe, this giant scythe that this half-human, half-dragon is holding. And finally, we have our answer for who the abomination was. So the abomination was actually Priscilla, and she is a half-dragon, obviously, because she has a tail. And you can cut her tail and get her dagger. And the dagger actually, the description of the dagger says that it has attacks similar to the Painting Guardian. So it's possible that the Painting Guardian, whose armor you can find in this area, at one point taught Priscilla how to defend herself with the dagger because she has similar attacks. But there's a lot of speculation in the community as to who the parents of Priscilla are. Obviously, she is an abomination. She's also a crossbreed, so she is half human and she is also half dragon. And some people think that her mother is Guinevere and her father is Seath. But I actually think that her mother is not Guinevere. I think that her mother is Velka. And again, that's because of the statue that we found in the courtyard, and she was holding a child that didn't look to be exactly human. So I think that Velka was holding Priscilla. And another reason that I think that Velka is Priscilla's mother is because she's a rogue deity. She doesn't, do everything that the gods tell her. So why should she help the gods in the church and protect this abomination? Well, the reason she's doing it is because the child is her own, and she cares for the child, and she gave her the peculiar doll. The doll was actually something that Priscilla worked or played with when she was a child, and Velka put an incantation on that doll, and to prevent Priscilla from suffering because she was ridiculed as an abomination, she sent her to the Painted World of Ariamis, and she put the Painting Guardians in front of the church to protect her. All right, guys. Well, that is going to wrap it up for this episode. I know there's been a lot of speculation and the crazy theory of Velka being the mother of Priscilla. But I hope that I tied everything together for you guys. I look forward to your comments. And this is the Tech Phantom signing off. Until the next time.